Hi everyone. A few days back I saw a video teaching us how to make a tamagoyaki with a bag of potato chips. So I thought I will try to do it on my own today. And I'm going to do it for breakfast. Yeah, it's a little bit heavy, but yeah, that's what I do. So today I prepared a bag of potato chips. It's curry flavored. So it means that my tamagoyaki will have curry flavor for it, and I will also be adding some uh, other ingredients I will show along the way. Without further ado, let's start. So like I mentioned, the main ingredient is actually eggs and let me see. It's actually eggs and potato chips. So I have here prepared a bag of potato chips from Calbee curry flavor. First step is to open it. Um, in order to make this, I know that usually we open our bag of chips this way. In order to make this tamagoyaki, it's better that we open it this way. Having a pair of scissors is important. Mm, the chips smell nice with all the curry flavor. So the next step in doing this is actually to crush the chips. Now you may be wondering, why don't we crush the chips, before we open it so that it won't be all over the place? Well, the thing is, there's still air inside the bag, so if we try to crush the chips before we open it, we may actually break the bag. Now the goal of crushing the chips is to make sure that they are small enough. You wouldn't want something too big so that when you bite into the tamagoyaki, you actually hurt your mouth. So yeah. Well, I've tried to crush the chips for a while, so this is how it looks like right now. I think I will still need to crush it even more. I don't want it to be such a big piece. It's actually like the size of a fingernail. Let me show you. So right now, the typical size is like a fingernail. I think it's still too big for our purpose. So to make things fun, just think that you're crushing, the head of someone you hate, like um, your awful neighbor or your lousy boss or a teacher that you hate. Yeah, back in school. So of course, everybody who knows me will know who I'm thinking of right now. Alright, it looks um it looks small enough, broken down enough, so I'll leave this as it is first, and then I will next prepare the other materials. First thing first, I will boil my water. Well, I'm using 18 centimeter saucepan, so a pot, not a saucepan. So I'm using an 18 centimeter saucepan, so I've filled the water up to about halfway through. So I will start to boil the water. Next up is to prepare the other ingredients. So I intended to put in broccoli. I'm only using a small clove of it because it's just a tiny bag of chips. And I've decided to finish using the rest of the luncheon meat that I started eating a few days back. So the luncheon meat is holiday brand. So I bought it from T&T supermarket. Uh, Unlike the usual how to put luncheon meat that we bought from like Marling, this holiday brand actually the texture feels more like a hot dog sausage, and so it's just like a square hot dog instead of you know the usual hot dog that we see. So first thing first, wash the broccoli. Because I don't use knife, so I'm going to cut this broccoli by hand. Yeah. Because I've plucked it by hand, so I've decided to leave the stalk alone. I'm just going to use the leafy part of the broccoli. Next for my luncheon meat. So you can see that I've left about a quarter of it, so I'm going to use that up because I love luncheon meat. Again, because I don't have a knife with me, so I'm just using the spoon to cut things up. Well, because of the size of the bag of chips, so we have to really make sure that the ingredients that we put in are not too chunky. If not, then it will be too out of proportion. So right now I'm trying to cut them into smaller chunks. Yeah, so that's it. My only ingredients, which is luncheon meat and broccoli. So the next step is to mix them together, but first I will need to turn off the heat for my water first. I took too long to prepare the video. So here, to recap, I use a bag of chips, and it's curry flavored, so I hope that my tamagoyaki will have will have curry flavor in it. And then using this bag of chips, we crushed it into, you know, tiny pieces. And then I'm going to add luncheon meat and broccoli, which I've also cut into small pieces, and to mix it in with the rest of the chips. So we'll have to make sure that they are well mixed. It feels like doing the shaker process. Well, here's what it looks like inside. Okay. So inside we have carbohydrates from the potato chips, and then protein from the luncheon meat, and then fiber from the broccoli. So I feel that it's a rather balanced meal. So I'll leave this, and right now we'll prepare the eggs. So in the video that I watched, they recommended adding 3 eggs, so I thought this will be what I will be adding today. I'm going to reuse the bowl that I used for my luncheon meat and broccoli, because I'm too lazy to wash many utensils. So yeah. 1, 2, 3. and the third one. Yeah. Oh, you can't see. So I'm going to beat the eggs, mix the eggs. Maybe we should try to show it. You're gonna make sure that it's well mixed, because once we leave it in to cook, we can't do anything to mix it again. So yeah. So now I've mixed it into a nice even. Nice and even mix. So we're going to mix it into the bag of chips. Yep. My fingers are crossed. I hope that there won't be any accident. Yeah. Here we go. Oh, it doesn't look like I have enough eggs inside. Let me see. I think I need to prepare more eggs. Well, in case you're wondering, after I pour the eggs in, you can barely see the eggs, so they have all mixed and stuck to the bottom. So I will need more eggs. If not, it will be two layers, whereby one is full of the ingredients and another one is just thinly mixed with the egg. So I'm going to mix in 2 more eggs. Why 2? Because yeah, so that I have even numbers left in my fridge. Again, mix it well. So I think the moral of the story is that the first lesson of the day is that do not add in too much ingredients. I think I'm going to have to split this egg for my lunch and dinner too. If not, eating 5 eggs at one go, I think it might be a bit too xiong for me. Too much for me. So yeah. Another I can't see. Never mind. So I've mixed another 2 eggs, and then I'm going to mix it in again. Alright, this time around It's easier to see the eggs. You can even see it flowing out as I tilt this chips in. Yep, you see it. So this means that there's enough eggs. So move on to the next step. Now just now I mentioned I was boiling the water, so according to the video is we are supposed to place this back into boiling water on low heat. So I'm going to be boiling water here. Or rather I'm going to put the water back into boil, and then while we are waiting for it, I'm going to seal this. And to do this, well, I have limited stuff at home, so I'm going to use a paper clip. I took it off my notes just for this video, so yeah. Nothing much, it's just to make sure that this thing don't pop up and causes the Tamagoyaki to lose its shape. So I think I'm going to bend it in there. Because in the video, it looks, the Tamagoyaki looks roundish. Just now when I was intending to fix it like this, as you can see, the back is flatter. So by folding it slightly more, it makes the back rounder, so that the Tamagoyaki will also have a rounder shape. Alright, so I'm ready, and let's take a look at the boiling water. Okay, can you see? Maybe I turn on the light. Yep. So right now, because I want to put the water to boil, that's why I put it on high heat. But since it's boiling, then I'm going to put it at low boil, and yep, my dear Tamagoyaki with potato chips and luncheon meat and broccoli. So yep, this is it. The Tamagoyaki bag. Well, I think I may need to add more water, so I'm going to boil some water from the kettle to add it in. So at the same time, I'm going to make some oatmeal for my breakfast. Oh well, I forgot to add that because in the video they said that they took 30 minutes for the Tamagoyaki to be well cooked. So well, I'm not sure how long mine will take because it involves, I put the luncheon meat in the fridge. So, and it may also take a long time. Usually Usually, um, for me when I make hard boiled eggs from with eggs from the fridge, I will only need to boil the eggs for 10 to 12 minutes. Um, so to me, it shouldn't take more than 10 to 12 minutes. I don't want it to be too hard also. So I'm going to set the timer to 10 minutes since I've been talking for a while right now. So after 10 minutes, I'm going to check on the tamagoyaki. So I'm going to make my oatmeal for breakfast. This is usually what I usually eat for breakfast, and I usually eat this baker's oatmeal, 1 minute oats, and it's unsweetened. So I actually have the liberty to either add honey or soy sauce to uh, flavor rice my oatmeal. So today, because I'm going to have it with my egg, so it's going to be a savory oatmeal, and depending on the taste of the tamagoyaki later, I'm going to decide whether I'm going to add soy sauce to my oatmeal. Now what? So I'm also waiting for the water to boil so that I can also start making my oatmeal. Um, I don't think I will be making it so early because there's still 9 minutes to the tamagoyaki being done. So well, we'll look and see. can see the boiling water is okay. Usually it takes a long time for the water to boil. I don't know why. I said I will only cook the oats a little bit later, and I added the water in, but it's okay. We still have 7 more minutes, so well, maybe I'll talk about uh, current life right now. So my friends will already have known that I am staying in Vancouver, Canada right now, and I've just completed my study. So the exams uh, was the exam was over around 2 to 3 weeks back, and I've already gotten my result. And yeah, and I'm still here in Vancouver because the whole world is closed. So it's not just that I cannot go out of Vancouver, I can't go back to Singapore also. There is literally no flights going into Singapore from Canada. In the first place, there isn't a lot of flights. There is zero flights from Canada to Singapore. So I have to transit through uh, one of the countries, Japan, Hong Kong, Taiwan, or even Thailand. Uh, but because of the current pandemic, so a lot of flights have been reduced. So currently there are no flights that will bring me back to Singapore, and well, I still have the capability to pay for my accommodation here, so I thought I will stay here. And when the situation gets better, then I'll try to make arrangements to go home, not before enjoying my time over here, because for the past 2 months, since mid of March, we have been on a lockdown, semi-lockdown stage. Um, yeah, so um, there isn't much to do. We have to stay in most of the time. It's very difficult to travel long distance. The furthest I went was uh, about the furthest I went was to Wellington Avenue in Burnaby, which is around, I don't know, 3 kilometers away from here. So, and in fact I just went to the Safeway over there yesterday, buy food, so to buy some groceries. So it is very difficult to travel uh, to other parts of Metro Vancouver. So I really miss going to Richmond to eat nice food. And yeah, then what else? And of course there are still parts of Vancouver that I have not explored, and I hope to do it before I return to Singapore. And of course, if possible, if I still have the financial capabilities, I'm going to uh, go outside of Vancouver uh, to do some exploring. And last year I went with my friends to Squamish. It's around 200 kilometers north of Vancouver, in the mountains. Not so much in the mountains, but we went to Whistler in the Squamish. So it was a day trip. And also we went to Vancouver Island, which was also a day trip. I even blogged about it. Vancouver in 40 hours. So when you're free, you can read my blog post to find out what it is like to, you know, be near, get in touch with nature in Vancouver Island. I've even had a separate blog post telling you how we made it to Vancouver Island and back. And of course, if I have the time, I'll also talk about our road trip up to Whistler and Squamish because it was the first road trip that we did, and it was a very great experience. So we we had a great time, you know, exploring the forest, and we didn't really go on 1 hour treks per se because we were doing pit stops along the way to Whistler. So, but we managed to do a touch and go kind of thing to look at nature and the North Shore Mountains, so to speak. And I hope that after, you know, Vancouver or BC, British Columbia, lifts its so-called lockdown orders, I hope to be able to travel somewhere further, perhaps to Whitehorse in Yukon or in Alberta. So after all, like I mentioned, there's no direct non-stop flight to from Singapore to Canada. So if I after I leave at Vancouver, Canada, I don't know when I will return to Canada. So I might as well make full use of my time over here. So I have 1 minute left for my Tamagoyaki. So I'm going to check on it. Still looks uncooked. Looks a bit more like the I wouldn't say it is totally uncooked, but half cooked, semi cooked, onsen egg kind of cooked. So I'm going to add another 3 minutes to the timer. And then at the same time, I'm going to start cooking my oatmeal. Well, when it comes to oatmeal, I think Singaporeans in general, I don't know whether Asians in general, but for Singaporeans, they have this stigma against eating oatmeal. Whenever I tell people that oh, I'm eating oatmeal, they will be like, are you sure you're eating that? But to me, it's nothing. Number one, it's healthy. It has it's full of fiber and good stuff in it, and it's just like a porridge, except that it's not made from rice, but it's made from oats. In fact, one of my favorite Asian food is to eat chop. So and I like my chop savory and salty. So it's like, why can't why do Singaporeans, you know, give that dirty look when they hear that someone else is eating oatmeal? So yeah, then the next I don't know, stereotype and stigma that people have is that oh, the oatmeal must be sweet. um, I don't really fancy sweetened oatmeal. But if it comes in pre-packaged, sweetened, I don't mind eating. But when I have the choice, like in this case it comes unsweetened, I really prefer to eat it savory, to add some soy sauce in it, or pepper, and mix luncheon meat with it. I think it makes it feels more like I'm eating chop, and I find nothing wrong with it. In fact, a few years back, when I was working in the airline, uh, my colleagues and I even had a oatmeal party whereby we just prepared simple oatmeals, and then someone brought omelette, someone brought luncheon meat, and a lot of other stuff that it feels like we are eating teochew mui rather than oatmeal, uh, except that it's even healthier than eating teochew mui because yeah, it's oatmeal and not uh, rice. So why not? And the the tamagoyaki is done. Alright, the top layer of it is still quite uncooked. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to bring it to boil for another 2 minutes, and then cover, put the cover on. Well, I thought of, since it's still the top layer that's uncooked, of tilting it so that it gets in touch with the water, but I thought that at the same time, because it's still in fluid state, when I tilt it, it will just flow out of the bag. So I thought covering it might help, to trap some heat above the bag so that uh, the eggs at the top part will you know get cooked sooner. Since we are at the topic of Singaporeans being weird over people eating oatmeals, so I thought it reminds me of another thing that my colleagues back home, have. Uh, because in the past, I always have my lunch in office because I after going to gym, you basically don't have much time left for from the lunch time, uh, to eat. So a lot of times, uh, perhaps 2 days out of a week, I will cook instant noodles. And I don't know why people, my colleagues will be like, oh, you're so poor thing, why are you eating instant noodles? And they were like, ew, why are you eating instant noodles? It's so unhealthy. And I was like, hello, instant noodles, why is it unhealthy? What? You just cook it within a few minutes, just like you cook pasta. So if pasta is not unhealthy, why is instant noodles not? Uh, why is instant noodles unhealthy? I don't understand why. And instant noodles are even more convenient to prepare than pasta. A lot of people say that, oh, because you fried it. Okay, it really depends. Modern instant noodles, they are actually baked, not fried. If they are fried, they are using vegetable oils and not, you know, um, animal oils like they did in the past. And of course, uh, as more scientific studies show, there's nothing wrong with MSG unless you're eating it in high doses. But everything has to be consumed in moderation. So um, there's nothing wrong with eating ketchup, but if you drink the whole ketchup at one sitting, of course there's going to be a problem. So there's no problem. I see no issue in eating instant noodles. The Japanese are the one who invented instant noodles. They are eating it on very frequent basis. I won't say on daily, but every other day. But who has the longest life expectancy in the world, right? I think it has the problem is not in the food itself, but in the way, number one, how we consume the food. Number two, how we um, conduct ourselves, carry out our lifestyles outside of eating the food. I think that is more important. For example, I don't even drink soft drink, so my beverage is usually plain water and plain coffee, black coffee without sugar. To me, that I enjoy doing it, and it has a good health benefit for me. It means that I can eat ice cream with less guilt. So the thing is done again. Let me show you. It still looks quite uncooked. Yep, it's still the top layer. You can see that the sides have already been cooked. So um, I'm going to put it to boil again for another 2 to 3 minutes. And well, this live video has taken quite some time, so I thought I will end this video, and perhaps I will post a picture of the final product when it's finally done. Maybe it really will take 30 minutes before it gets fully cooked, and I'll share it on my Instagram and Facebook, and hopefully maybe I'll make another video of me eating this tamagoyaki with potato. So yeah, that's all for today. Thank you for spending almost an hour of your time with me, yeah, cooking my breakfast. So if you like it, share it with your friends, and remember to subscribe, one, to my YouTube channel, two, to my blog, singincang.com, and yeah, see you next time. Bye bye. It's still not done. Yeah.